Gonna open up the Water Sewer Commissioners meeting on March 20th, 2018, and it is now 7:20. We're gonna review and approve the minutes of the meetings, and I believe we have December 5th to do.
Yeah, we have to approve from the December 5th, because we had to reschedule the March 6th meeting.
Yeah, and this February 6th. I should have read these before.
I know, he was sitting there gabbing about.
Oh, I'm sorry, President is Keith Waniaz, Bob Josie, Colin Hare, Bob Sullivan.
You probably won't want to vote on this anyway, because you weren't at that meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, just you and I. Keith.
Yeah, so I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from December 5th, 2017.
Maybe I should, you might have signed me up for something.
We'll find out after we approve the minutes.
And I'll second it, and all in favor?
Aye.
February 6th, which is myself and Colin here.
Okay. Let's see, probably a quick meeting.
You want to change this, Colin?
No, I don't think. No, I think anything. No.
Yeah.
Make a motion. Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 6th as presented.
I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Bob, you want to give the water sewer
Yeah, I'll give you a
reports?
sewer report, I'm not sure where the water one went. I got one somewhere,
Yeah, it's sewer, you got a water?
and I don't know where it went between me and her, and I came to my office, so I can't find anything. My tile system works though.
Okay.
I know. Clean everything, then you put everything in, we got everything just
I
put
don't
away.
know where everything is. Alright, so for February, we had 5.07 inches of rain. Cinnagro hauled 108,000 gallons. We had 6.56 million gallons of flow for an average of 234,000 a day. Wasted 76,580 gallons for an average of 2735 a day. We used 667 gallons of alum, 477 gallons of sodium hydroxide, 311 kilowatt hours of electricity, and the river average was 940.942 cubic feet.
Put that in some reserve for August?
Yeah.
You know, if we could just average the year instead of the month.
Wow.
940.
Wow.
We're down to what, 7
Yeah,
in the summertime?
thing dries up in the summer, you could mow it.
We had a chemical delivery of alum. We had twice as much rain for February as we had last February. This resulted in 32.15% increase in the influent flow over last year. We replaced cracked fittings at the Colonial Pump Station. We have added a vacuum float valve to the grit chamber. That's all I got for the sewer report.
And you have to start with the UV. Is that next month?
Yeah.
That's the temperature, right? The temperature?
Yeah, it's a seasonal thing because people aren't swimming in the rivers and
Oh, okay.
outside and stuff.
Okay. I was thinking warmer temperatures for bacteria growth and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything on goals and objectives, or should we bypass that and go into the budget?
Yeah, we get right into the budget.
Yep.
Okay. print that a little bit smaller?
I didn't print it, I had Lee print it, but
Good, good.
I have it set up so that when I print it, it's only on one page, so. She probably doesn't know how to change my settings on that report. But that's
What's
basically
this,
just the report from, that's the one that we do for this year. And this here, I think this might even be a little more up to date than the one that Lee used when she printed these. So if you just go by the main budget,
I'll go buy this one.
yeah. So the pages that I
Yeah,
printed.
there's a whole huge thing that shows how,
Yeah, this is, she printed every single page of the spreadsheet that we created to, so it gives
That's the
you
vendors, right?
every single
Yeah.
line item.
But I think the first couple pages here just directly, it goes to the, what was spent.
No, this is the page that has the totals of what we're spent right now and what's available. This is spent, this is available.
as,
So these, each line item has a separate page that gives you a breakdown right to every single transaction that has happened.
Right, that's all these right over here, right, all every single page.
Yeah.
Each line item is associated with going over to the 7.5, so you follow every line over, it's gonna tell you exactly what you are, 7.5,
No,
7.19,
this is- if you look-
7.12,
If you look at this number here, the 51100,
yeah,
so you come over here and find the 51100, which is the salaries. But you can't see
yeah,
it
the
because it
cutoff,
punches
because of the
right
whole,
through it.
yeah.
so what was the date,
So
what was the date this was generated? Is there a date on this?
No, just because the hole
No.
punch is there.
Yeah, but I don't know what date she actually printed it.
That's what I'm wondering, what.
But if you go by this,
Yeah,
this is a little more accurate,
Mhm.
but they're very close. She had to print these to get them all ready to go for the binders.
actually 2/28 will be the cut, I would imagine that's gonna be the last date on it.
Well, some of these are March 7th too, so it's pretty close, because the source salary is the same.
Right, so this was printed on 3/19.
Okay.
So this is up to date. This would be just from what she reconciled.
Mm-hmm,
So she wouldn't have reconciled all of this yet, but we're pretty
pretty close.
close. I mean, we do
You get
everything.
a, you get
Yeah,
a,
you get the whole, everything that's been spent, every
every one
vendor.
of them, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
so,
so
yeah.
like Osterman,
yeah,
right here, you got from November of last year,
right down.
right to date.
Yeah, then
And this is what's
balance.
remaining, yeah.
Yeah,
So if we got one vendor or something we wanna look at, we've got it.
okay,
Right,
very
so if
good.
you have a question on a specific
yeah, I was just hoping that,
line item, we can go find
yeah. I
those
was just
sheets
thinking
and
if
you'll
this
see.
would be easier to read than that.
Not really, unless you go through the entire thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but this is gonna be fairly close to this.
well, you, this one here and this
Yeah,
one, okay.
and this one's easier for you guys to read.
And this one is the one that Gene created?
This comes out of Munis, yeah, so she emailed that over to me earlier, so I went through and put all the numbers in there today so that you would have
Okay,
comparison.
okay. So,
We really don't get into the stuff that we'll deal with until
Right.
the electric bill.
yeah,
Everything else is just given to us, right?
yeah,
Yeah, all these are given, we don't
Yeah,
have
so
control
again-
over those.
Yep. Okay. The salaries, what did you do for salaries?
Salary, I put in 1.5% and steps, but they're voting on that tonight at the selectmen's. I know that,
For the COLA, what the percent is?
Right.
Okay.
I was told that it was gonna be
1.5%.
That's what they were saying, but it hasn't been voted on by the commission, by the selectmen yet.
You voted on that tonight, you said?
Yep. So I'll have a definite tomorrow, but
Um,
Big increase in health insurance.
well, you gotta look at the two because I think they were allocating them incorrectly.
Oh, are they?
So if you look at the other one, I mean, it's still a bit of an increase, but on the water it went down, and on the sewer it went up. So it's based on the percentages.
Oh, okay.
That you doesn't.
Yeah. Why did I think 2017 was less than that? Because we were down one guy, weren't we? So why didn't we thought we had budgeted for that?
No, we had almost full staff in 17.
All the way up through
18
that flight
is-
as David retired, right? And that was
Right.
pretty much right to the end, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he went completely
That
to
was,
the end.
I was thinking that was longer than that. but
He
that was
actually,
almost-
he
yeah.
actually went one more day, so he got all his vacation.
Okay. All right. So you wanna hold that number? You think?
Yeah, I have to get someone hired.
Right,
I mean, it's definitely gonna be less than that this year.
yeah,
So when we close this year out, a lot of that will go back to retained earnings.
yeah,
But I need to hold the line because I need to get those positions filled.
yeah.
And again, I'd rather be conservative and over budget. I mean, if we don't go at that rate, then
Mhm.
it's just gonna go back to retained earnings anyway, instead of going to town meeting in the fall or special town meeting trying to get it readjusted.
Right, I guess, like, are we anticipating hiring somebody before July 1?
I would like to, but
I guess my thought was if we level funded with the, if in anticipation as we were gonna hire somebody by July 1, that we weren't carrying an excessive amount, dollar figure. But if you think that we.
like I said, I can't take salaries and use it for expenses.
Right,
So I can't
right,
like
know
go
we can't-
spend
I know-
that.
I know that, but I'm just
So,
thinking,
I know what you mean.
just for budgeting purposes, instead of having,
But
you know,
it's,
always going back into,
but it's easier to go in and decrease it at a fall town meeting or annual town meeting, or you don't even have to really worry about it, like I
yeah,
said.
we don't.
Whatever
have to
isn't
increase
spent goes back into the retained earning. It's not like one of those use it or lose it things that.
it. No, I know that, I
So-
realize that.
So, it's easier to carry the full number and then decrease it after if we need to. It's a lot easier doing that than going to town meeting, trying to get it voted through
Increase
that
it.
we need money because we don't have enough.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
I understand, but if we're if we're gonna try to hire somebody before July, then I would say leave it, but if we're
Right.
not gonna do it, then, you know, if we anticipate now, you
I
know,
mean, I would like to hire
Fall.
him last July, but.
yeah.
So,
So we can get the, see what they do for the Coles on that,
yeah.
and, they'll have to go over the steps.
Yeah, so
before-
right now I
before
just,
the- before the
I did
salaries
it
get
conservative,
finalized.
right, before we finalize everything, you know, we can have another conversation as to,
Yeah. What that's gonna be.
right.
So health insurance, we can't do anything on that.
Right. So you can go by the first
What
five.
is the second one? What is that? HINS, TRE.
That's the retired, healthcare for the retired,
Okay.
so I think there's 2 of them on that.
That's not part of OPEB? Or that's retirement, that's
That's
retirement.
other
that's
post-retirement, yeah.
Post-retirement, yeah.
The waiver is the health insurance waiver. If you opt out of the insurance, they give you an incentive.
Okay,
Didn't she give us that number too?
Yeah, that comes from, the town hall.
so 500 gets put just automatic.
Yeah,
And then same on,
And then
Water.
that could change, yeah, it is the same on water, I split it 50/50. It could change if somebody opted out of it,
mhm,
so that would be variable based on what people choose for their insurance this year.
yeah,
You know, if somebody get married and wanted to go on their spouses, or even if they're already married, they wanna switch over to their spouse's insurance, then
Yeah.
we'd end up paying that benefit,
yeah,
but it would take off a huge amount off of the insurance.
health insurance.
Yeah. So if that goes up, it's a good thing, because that means we save a lot more on the other end.
Mhm. So this number, the 32,130, that came
Mhm.
right from Gene?
Yeah. And but like I said, the 32, it looks like it went way up,
Yeah,
but it was just a matter of how the allocations were, because the other one went, I mean, it's still up overall
mhm,
between the two,
Mhm.
but that one came down 3,500, 3,400. And this one went up to 12, so it's really an offset of about 8 up.
See page 4?
yeah. 17.
I don't wanna jump ahead of Colin, but, did you, for 104 Main Street, we get like the electric bill from that now?
Yep.
And the,
It
what
did
else is,
increase a little based
what else
on
is over there, heat?
heat, oil,
Yeah. Just in the garage?
yeah.
The other building, we don't have the heat, right?
It has, we have some heat on, and it's electric heat in the room where the water lines are,
Yep.
just to keep that stuff from freezing, but nothing else is on over there.
Is it expensive to heat that garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a well-sealed, energy efficient building.
Yeah, there's no insulation in there
No,
either, is there?
there is some,
Some, but not much.
not a lot. Windows are terrible,
Garage?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old building, but we
Yeah.
don't heat it up to be like sitting like an
Oh, no.
office, so.
Just keep it tempered more or less.
Yeah, we just wanna keep it so the jetter doesn't freeze, and there's a smaller office area that's heated to keep the water pipes from freezing, but that's it. I call it office area, but it's really gonna be storage.
So we're good on the electric? Everybody good on the electric?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I went up a little based on electric over there and possible on the expenses. The electric-
Have we seen any cost savings with all the energy things that we've done over the last couple of years?
Yeah,
With all the,
and then, yeah, we've been tracking, the blowers, because we put in the DO sensor in one tank, just to try to prove that doing the upgrades that we wanted to do would save energy, and they are saving.
And it's open up.
Yeah, I think it comes out to like $100 and something bucks a month
okay,
that we save on each of those. So I'm gonna try to use that information to justify getting grants to get the other two done. Cause they wanted to spend $7,000 to do a study to tell us whether or not it would save energy.
mhm,
So I looked at it saying, well, we'll spend the $7,000 putting one in, and then we'll have the data to prove that it works. So they shouldn't argue saying that you need to do a study before we'll agree to pay for it.
yeah. The, heating,
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm looking at 17, actual was 61.
Say that again.
2018 actual was 79,
That's as of right now.
yeah,
So we're at almost 8,000 now.
yeah,
We still got a few more months to go here. And
that's what we
I
still
also, yeah,
account for the,
right, and I added some just to account for the mobile,
yeah,
because we don't really know how much it's gonna cost for a full winter over there.
okay.
And are you splitting that when you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you see I went from 35 to 38.
Yeah, so like for 18, for heating for water, we did 6. And then
Oh,
heating
heating,
for
yeah.
this, we did 10, so that's 16. So then if we go to 12 and then 8, so that's 20. So we increase that
By
system-wide by
4,000.
4,000.
But we also don't know what oil prices are gonna happen. I mean, that's the main cost on the heating is oil price.
And that was that, the both of those buildings have oil,
No, just the one.
just the one, the other was electric, right?
I mean, once we get some time to get over there and fix some things, I'm sure we can seal it up a little and
Mhm.
save a little on the heat and figure out how to shut doors, that keep it just the areas that we need to heat as opposed to everything over there.
We good on heating? Good on heating?
What?
We good on the heating?
Yeah.
That's good. We're doing, go through both, right? Water and sewer, and same, you wanna go through,
Well, when stuff matched up, like the heating and the electric, I look at like the system, you know. So I like to look at that number together.
I don't have a problem putting them side by side and
that's on, just try to expedite some time, I'm guessing.
yeah.
Professional and technical, I always have an issue with, but it's probably because I don't understand what we do with that money. So after God knows how many years of sitting at this table,
I know, what gets changed sometimes, it,
Yeah.
it gets a different category, it's
Yeah.
reclassified, or,
Right.
So what are we doing with that?
Typically,
number?
the professional and technical is when we hire other people to do things,
Okay.
as opposed to us doing it. That used to be kind of flip flop. We had a lot more money on the professional technical, and then we did less. Now we fix more things that as we can. And we try to hire it out less. The reason
That's what's sending the guys to school and everything, right?
well,
No.
it's just we.
No, that's like RH White or something, right?
Right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we did things like put a basin so we can pull a pump out instead of having them come in with a crane truck.
Yep,
Put
okay.
a hand winch instead of having them come in with a crane truck to do it. Even going down in the tanks to fix some of the things.
Mhm.
You know, we tend to do a lot of that ourselves instead of having them come do it. The reason the sewer one is high and it's high, it was high for the current fiscal year and it's high for the next fiscal year, that's for doing the sewer inspections. So we're gonna have to contract some people to come in. We're gonna do the majority of it ourselves, but we're gonna, for one, being limited on time, and two, not having the equipment to do it, we gotta sub out a lot of it. So between the two, because we did get an extension by a year, but by the end of this year, we have to have that completely done and a report written up to the state.
for all the scoping.
We gotta sub some of that out though, right?
Yeah, because our equipment isn't big enough to go full length on a lot of them.
So that's, I'm just looking at the, to Keith's point with the professional technical, yeah, we have in here, it was budgeted 40, we only used the, 71 to date on the,
Right, like I said, we haven't done it yet, we haven't hired anyone to come in yet.
so that's gonna be.
Last
part-
fall, we started doing some ourselves with the
Yeah.
jetter and the camera,
Yeah,
so we hadn't got around to, we were trying to see how we could do it and minimize how much we have to outsource.
so do we anticipate any of that getting done out of this budget, or is it gonna be?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull some out of this one, we're gonna use some of that this year.
Okay,
Can't do it now because it's still too cold and you really wanna
Right.
do it in the wet season, so April, May, we'll get some done, and then in the fall, we'll do some more.
okay, so do you think we still need the whole 40?
I would keep it there just in case. By fall town meeting, I'll be able to tell you if we can drop that off if you want. Basically because by fall town meeting, I have to have it all done anyway.
Yeah, we wouldn't necessarily, fall town meeting really wouldn't apply to this, like, we wouldn't be reducing our budget at.
Well, you can if we wanted. You know what I mean? You can't go in at fall town meeting and say, all right, we wanna reduce these line items. Well, they're not actual line items on,
Right. but
all
I mean,
this isn't
it's gonna
there
go
with the
back to-
total.
Yeah, it's gonna go back to retained
it
earnings.
will, but.
I just don't wanna go over budget. I guess I'm trying to look at a way to make sure the budget's like a level funded budget. So with the increases, we can offset some of the other ones, but, and decrease some of the ones that we know, so that we can put forth a level funded budget.
I mean, I would think that we would almost have like a quote on that, right?
I got daily rates, so it's $5 to $6 grand a day. No telling how much they can do in a day, so. You run into a spot that's messed up, it jams up the machine, you get kinda stuck, so. It's kind of a crapshoot,
What do they do, give us a price on per foot or something like that, or?
not per
or
foot, I
mile?
go by the day,
By the day they go by?
yep.
And how about on the 25, we use 3, so basically,
I mean, the water, I could always understand having a little buffer in the water, cause if we had a year where, you know, we get 8, 9, 10 breaks, you gotta have RH White come in and help out. So, I don't really have an issue with that
No.
number so much, but,
on the water, so on the
yeah,
water side.
on the water side, just the 40 on the sewer side.
Like I said, this is the last year, I'm behind the 8 ball, there's nothing you can do now, if I don't have the money to finish it, then the fines will probably be more than that for not having it done.
Well, we wanna make sure it gets done, we're
Yeah.
not looking to cut that.
Right, so,
But we wanna make sure that,
if you guys can guess better than I can on how many feet they can do in a day,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to guess at that.
I guess what I was thinking was that if it was gonna come out of this year's budget, why are we budgeting the same amount for next year's? as
well, I said that when I budgeted this, that I was gonna do some this year and I'm gonna do some
Some in
the
the
following year, so
Okay,
that was the reason for budgeting it twice.
okay.
It's not really an overlap, I had told you that we were trying to do a little at a time.
Okay. So that number should drop next year, then that should come down.
Yes, yeah, after this next year, it'll be back down around, 10, 15.
Okay. Just go up one on the repair and maintenance, it looks like you dropped that by 15 on the sewer,
Yep.
and then on the water, you held the same, okay, yeah, it was pretty close there, yeah. Okay, we good with that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Legal, just held the same,
And that was because we haven't concluded that.
yep. What was other utilities on the water?
Other utilities is the backflow testing.
Okay. That's pretty well, 22, yeah, so that's pretty close,
Yeah, we still have another round to do in the spring, so.
yeah. Okay. Let's see, that's straightforward. Training conference, that's pretty straightforward. Is that number pretty good, Bob?
For the training conference?
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah, there's
Which one was that?
already a few training.
Oh, training, yeah.
Conferences. Cause there's already a couple that I know I gotta send these guys to that are $500-600 trainings, so.
So we're good with those on the water and sewer side. Physicals. Advertisement. Visual technical. Telephone, that's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
21.
The print mail, I increased that on both line items. That was one I figured we'd bring up for discussion. That, we had got the quotes on outsourcing that
On,
to have another company print the bills and mail them out.
Print mail, and then- So we're good on postage, we're good on that.
Yeah.
1919.
So what's the,
So the print mail is, we did get a price to have another company print the bills and mail the bills instead of us doing it in-house. And I think it actually, when we looked at it, I gotta pull all the numbers together again, but when we looked at it, we didn't have everything together quick enough to get it done for this round of billing. But the intent was to try to outsource that because they'll get a better postage rate. And it came out to, when they were printing and mailing them, it came out to less than what we're doing it for anyway.
Really?
Yeah, cause.
yeah, but how do they do that, how do you do that with Munis? Do you give some company access to Munis?
We send them a file. So when we do a bill run, instead of printing the bills, we just create a file and we email it to them. And they can print it, but that was why we didn't have enough time to do it for this billing
We
run,
haven't
because we
had
got the pricing.
We haven't had a bill run go right yet.
I know, that's one of the reasons we wanted to have them do it,
Well,
because,
so, seriously, I mean, since we got Munis, it's been, you
Or
know,
worse.
it's,
And-
you know, hours on the telephone with Munis and,
hours, it's more like weeks.
yeah.
But,
I don't spend like you have
the
it.
paper is expensive for the paper that we print on.
Yeah.
So like you said, we haven't got one to go right yet. When we look at it on the computer, everything looks okay, she hits print and it comes out
Yeah,
in
it's a
computer
disaster,
language.
yeah.
So you waste $300 worth of paper
Yeah.
that the bills need to go on. So just one mess up and this more than pays for itself.
So how would that work if we outsource that and they get a file and so whatever, it prints out, and they have a problem with it?
Well, that's on them.
If we gave them the file though.
Right, but we give them the file. That's why we didn't have enough time, because they needed, I think it was like 2 weeks to get the file and do whatever they need to do to get whatever file we give them in the right format to print it the way we want. So they need to run all the tests in order to do that. Once they do that, then we just send them the file and they can do it quick. But that initial one that we set up with them, we need to send them a file. They need to do all their testing to make sure it doesn't do that. So then once they do that, we send them the same file. It's up to them to get it to print correct. That's why we go through that process of them taking 2 weeks to get everything right the first time.
So you think there'll be a cost savings by doing this?
I do.
Have they worked with Munis before?
I mean, I think it's worth a try, you know, see
Yeah.
how, give it a try. What do you think? No?
I'm not a fan.
You think it's gonna cause more headaches and,
Well, it just is, you know, we got all these little tweaks that we do. We're still not, you know, there's still meters that are messed up, you know,
The meters should be done before the next billing.
you know. So you get all those little hokey things like that that crop up, you know. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand. It's just since you know we were forced into this Munis thing,
I know.
you know. But
What's your thought on that, Bob?
I think it's worth a try.
I mean, if you
think
see
we're gonna
see
save
how many
money.
man hours we spend, because she's got to fold every bill by hand. I mean, I've got this folder machine that I brought in, but
yeah,
because the paper has that preparation, and you have to fold it just under the preparation in order to get the window to sit in the envelope correctly, this won't do it because it just won't fold that little extra. It always wants to catch on that.
yeah. But what if
preparation.
so what if we're going to tell these people what paper we want, but what if they don't fold it correctly and it's not mailed correctly? We have an issue with the post office. Okay, so the way the perforation is on the bill, if it's not folded at a certain point, like if you folded it like you would think it should be folded, it doesn't sit in the window correctly. So then the post office says, well, yeah, that one's no good, that one's no good, that one's no good, because they can't read the address. It doesn't sit in the window perfect. So then you gotta fold it a funky way. I
Right.
just,
So
and I
is
know
there-
then it's done on them, but
So I also told the admin to look into
Say they're different
the
envelopes?
bigger envelope
yeah,
with a
bigger
bigger
window,
window.
a bigger window. So
So-
we're getting all that stuff from the town hall. That's
Right, so I told her to
that's
look
not-
into talking to whoever they're ordering the envelopes from to get a bigger window.
Yeah.
So we can look at that, but, you know.
I mean, it's something to
companies that do
try, I
this For a
mean-
living.
What's,
they'll
we can do,
work
because
with
we've
the-
already had from using the print company in Auburn for the CCRs,
Right.
and there's already been, you know, that's proved itself 100 times over.
Right.
So, I'm just concerned about all the oddball things that each billing cycle, we've gotta, you know, reread these 20 meters, you know, these, you know, these 5 meters are, you know, we gotta read them like it's 1962.
Do we still have the
You know.
ability, if we do this, do we still have the ability, so say we hire this out, and there's 50 issues and bills, can we still correct them and then print our
We
own?
print our own.
And know for the small quantities?
Yep,
And then mail them out that way, so it's not like you have to send them back to,
yeah, we
This
don't need to go
company
back
do
to
all
them
of
to
it.
send them, no.
okay.
Because if we do a read, and then they sit on it for 2 weeks, and then it's mailed, like, say, the 3rd week, and then, say there's a closing in between,
Well, they said it's a 3-day turnaround, which is faster than we can get it done anyway. We send them the file in 3 days, they have it out in the mail.
alright, but I thought they tested it.
Well, that's the initial one, we have to send them a file.
Oh, alright, the
At
initial,
least 2 weeks for them to go through their process
the first time we
to
did
get
this.
that done, right. So we could do
Okay.
that with them now, using the last bill run,
Yeah,
just to get their stuff set up.
Yeah.
When they're set up, and then in the fall, when we go to bill, it's a 3-day turnaround. So
And I
that's our
think-
problem now, is that it ties us up for 2 weeks, printing, trying to fold,
yeah,
trying to get them all in the envelopes, get them to the mail.
I mean, if it's gonna help things out, I would agree, absolutely, but I don't wanna turn into, like Munis has been very difficult. So I don't wanna send now you got Munis and something else, and now you're trying to do both.
And that's one of the problems that we have now, is that our meter company is separate from our billing, the billing software. So it's 2 different software people, and when you say, hey, this didn't work right, they say, oh, well, it's them, and they say, no, it's them. So we go back and forth, so I understand what you're saying, but, you know, they're gonna test it with the billing cycle, when they check it, make sure everything's gonna work the way we want, you know, then a lot of it falls on them.
yeah, I guess that doesn't come into play. Yeah, no, I don't try
What-
anything once.
Yeah, what's Lee's thought on that? Have you talked to her about that?
I can tell you, she'd love to get rid of.
I know, yeah, but as far as the headaches that would come out, if there's any gonna be any issues with them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
Steve-
know till you
Steve
try.
wants radio reads and she wants billing gone.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, I'm open to give
Yeah.
it a shot, it's gonna save some money and,
You can always take it off next year and do it.
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't
Doesn't work
work,
out.
we just go back to doing it the way we were. It's not changing our process any other than we create a file to email to them, and they,
What are they doing with the tax bills? Are they
Huh?
doing tax bills up there? They still
they go,
doing it?
no, tax bills goes to,
yeah, they have it
No.
printed somewhere else.
Norwood, you gotta send.
No, that's where you
like,
mail it, but I'm
collectively,
saying
well,
who's,
print generating them, yeah.
who's printing them and
Yeah.
stuffing them and mailing them? Are they doing that up there or?
No, they don't do that. There's too many bills.
Yeah.
They sub that out.
Is it the same company?
I think it is. I think that's where we got the price from.
Okay. I don't wanna hold up progress.
And, yeah, if it's the same, I mean, like I said, it's worth a try, and if it helps it. And the other thing I think it may help out too is I think if we, at some point, we're gonna need to discuss going to quarterly billing.
Right.
So I think that might help. Let's get this perfected first and then look into the quarterly billing part. At
Yeah,
some
we have
point.
talked about that for a while.
Yeah, cause the bills are creeping up and it's hard, you know, somebody gets a $600, $800, $1,000, you know, water sewer bill combined.
Yeah.
You know, the one payment, it can,
And then a month later, you get your tax bill.
right, then you get your tax bill the following month, so it's a big, I know, I have looked at other towns and a lot of the other towns are going, some towns are monthly,
Yeah.
but they also have a radio read, so they just hit a button at the computer
Yeah.
and just generate a bill. So, I mean, but the investment in that was, what was it, like $250,000, I think?
Actually, we could have got to that point, not too bad,
You had to bring
price
that
wise.
up.
That's a topic for another day.
But it was the guy that came in for the meeting to give his sales pitch, and then he came out with that $60,000 a
Oh, yeah,
year
yearly.
maintenance. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, you
Yeah.
can leave.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what they wanted for maintenance,
yeah,
just for the program stuff.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
But we did the radio studies and everything, and we could have put an antenna up on the
Mhm.
cell tower up at the Church Street tank, and we wouldn't have need to put any towers or anything else up. We could have
Yeah.
went right on that, and it would have did the entire town.
Right,
So the initial cost wasn't as bad as most towns.
yep, but then the yearly.
Right, but that annual cost, I'm like,
$60,000.
yeah, try to spread that over 1,200 customers.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't, it's not
crazy.
feasible.
It doesn't make any sense.
But I would like to discuss it for another meeting, obviously, we'd go through the budget, the quarterly billing, just to try to come up with, even if it's an estimate, like do 2 actual and 2 estimated in between, and then we can do the. then we
Yeah, I
can-
had thought of a few different ways to do that, and you could probably do like all the base fees. You do all the base fees in 2 bills, and then do the reads like we do now, and you're only paying for the usage on the other 2.
Mhm.
You know, that would
Offset,
even it out a little bit.
you have to look at that, yeah, it's another discussion for another day, I guess.
Other services on the sewer is Synagro, right?
Yes, Synagro and the chemical companies. Yeah, those are our biggest expenses.
Good on cellular.
Yeah.
Other service was Synagro, and, have you said Synagro?
Yeah, that's Synagro
Yeah,
on
he's
the
looking
sewer
at the
side,
big number on the sewers.
on the sewer one.
This one.
Oh, yeah, okay. That is a big number.
It is.
You know what the kicker on that is? Is 95% of it's water.
Water, yeah.
5%.
It's about 98% water.
98% water. And solids are only like
I know.
2%.
2%. So basically 2% of that number, if you were just getting rid of solids.
Yeah.
There's gotta be a way, there has to be some way that, if somebody can invent something to come up with that.
Oh, no, there is. Belt filter press, plate
I was gonna
press.
say
Yeah,
Bill
they put
filter
all
press,
that.
we had that
Yeah,
done.
had it at the other place.
Go ahead, we'll go to town
They got
meeting,
'em,
see if we can get 5 million off of that.
What is that? What is that? I mean, is it, we
It
spend
presses all the
100,000.
water out, but you get up to like 24% solids as opposed to 2%.
He wants to build
But-
a drying bed, bring back the
Yeah.
drying bed.
Well, I'm looking at the number, $118,000 a
That's a
year.
lot of money.
118,000 a year, I mean,
Yeah,
if you could put something into bond something for a debt service of less than that you had to improve something, you know, do a savings of half of that, you'd still be ahead of the game.
yeah.
If there's something they could do to improve the.
Is that,
plant.
I mean, is that something possible, the Bill filter press, or?
It is, but there's other snafus with that. For one, it's labor intensive. A lot of electric, a lot of chemical in
Yeah.
order to get to that point to make it work.
Mhm.
And then you're taking solids, they consider it solids, and you're bringing them to a landfill or somewhere to be composted. So you're land applying, as opposed to we have this incinerated.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you know cradle to grave. So any waste that you dispose of, there's cradle to grave. You own it, you make it, and you own it in the ground. If we incinerate it, that kills that. It's no
Yeah.
longer the same chemical you sent out. Once it's incinerated, it changes its state. So there's nothing to come back to you after they incinerate it. But if we land apply this, and it could be completely legal right now, bringing it to some landfill or bringing it somewhere where they compost it, completely legal right now, and in 10 years from now, they change the laws and say, that's not legal anymore. Oh, and everyone that dumped there, you now have to pay your percentage based on how much you dumped to clean it up.
Yeah, it's like asbestos.
For
Yeah.
the amount of years you dumped it.
Yeah, just, they say, all right, you contributed 10% to this dump site, now you're on the hook for 10% of the cleanup bill.
Yeah, so see, that number's looking pretty good
So,
now.
so regardless of it being,
How's our insurance payment? We
On
need-
the postage,
Well,
let's argue about postage.
yeah. I look at the number, he's like you said,
Oh, yeah, no, it's a huge
118,000.
I know, it
No,
it
that's
kills
a
me every
number.
time I see that truck pull out of
You
here.
know, so you know it's hauling all water out of here.
yep.
It's a big number every year.
Where are you calling? Is it alright if I jump ahead?
Go ahead, yeah, I'm just looking through, I'm trying to,
Just the public works on the suicide we dropped, that was a big drop. Or did you forget a zero?
On sewer?
Page 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot a zero
Figured a zero there?
then. Yep.
You gonna add a zero?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
that was in my transposing from.
which one are we looking at?
So public works on the
Public
sewer,
Works.
page 2.
Oh, yeah.
The total should still be the same. That shouldn't throw that number off.
Gasoline,
Because
good,
I already wrote this out.
good. Gas.
What's that? Oh, in-state tuition?
In-state
And in-state T it says.
travel, I believe.
Travel? Oh, in-state travel.
Building and equipment,
Equipment.
we're holding the same 25, holding the, 25 on
And 30 on the water.
so,
Just under the, not to go backwards, but under the office equipment on the water side, future plans for 104 Main. Anything necessary?
I haven't found anything good for us to use office for there.
Okay.
where are you looking at?
I'm not
Office
opposed to.
equipment? Office supplies.
Well, I was just looking for future equipment if that
Oh,
was gonna be used up there for anything or,
No, I don't plan on using that for an
Yeah.
office right now.
Trying not to.
yeah.
I'm actually thinking about looking at it and see if we can knock out one of those walls and make it more of a garage door.
Yeah.
So highway can put their new snow blower or whatever in there.
Yeah, okay.
Just some thought. We can't go into the real estate business, like rent that out for office space.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
I'm sure you could. I mean, we rent
yeah,
the library, the senior center,
we rented the second floor of the town hall.
the post office, the school.
The post office, we probably could,
So you could.
but I think there's gonna have to be some, substantial
Yeah.
investment
I
put
was
into
gonna
it
say.
to get it to where you'd be.
It would take a lot to get that up to code
Code and everything,
And-
yeah, there's no sprinkler.
and everything
no this,
else
that.
in order.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you need sprinkler because it's not over 10,000
Yeah,
square
no.
feet, but or 7,500, whatever you guys have.
7,500.
There's not that much call for
It
office
wouldn't-
space, it seems like.
It wouldn't hurt to never, I always never say never. you know,
Right.
Or maybe explore it at some point. Let's see. One thing I did think of though
Still
is,
not opposed to it being a police station over there. Just knock that down and build a new one out of the right of way.
yeah, if they were,
What time are you going back to Dudley?
They're discussing it. You might as well give them options that'll save you money.
the, a couple things that not necessarily has to do with the budget and directly, but, I did think of, like we discussed when we bought that, purchased that land was maybe on Rydell Road, cutting off a couple of lots to recoup some of the money,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
you know, on the Rydell Road
You got
side.
frontage all on Rydell.
Is that something that's something we can do though?
We can, yes. We could do that. And just try to get some money back in that was expended for the property and basically end up with the property for almost next to nothing.
Is that something, we can't
And-
do that now?
and
though,
get
can we?
some,
Is there still a 10
I was
10
gonna say,
year
you
wait?
got that 10-year waiting period, so we probably still have another 8 years on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all.
That was it. It's just for future planning down the line.
Right.
Yeah, we had talked about that anyways, doing that. But that's another 8 years down the road.
Yeah, because no development on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We'll look at that later.
Yep.
Alright, if I jump ahead?
Yeah, where are you?
At Capital on the water side, page 5.
Yep. Ooh, that's a big jump.
Well, it's not a jump, it actually came down. We had that up higher the previous years. There's several things there that, one is buying pipe, hydrants, that stuff.
Was that meters?
Meters is in that as well.
And that was in 17, right? Was meters?
We had bought meters in 17, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of that money was earmarked to finish that loop up on Northwest Main.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that project that we still wanna complete. What was it? We have to put the pH or the chlorine analyzers at the pump stations.
Mhm.
So that has not been done yet. That is probably gonna come out of this year's budget, not next year's. But like I said, I don't see us getting any water main done this year. So a lot of this money should go back into retained earnings.
So it looks like we bought 57, 56,
Well, yeah, it's gonna be,
780.
it's not gonna be anywhere near that, cause there's still several thousand that haven't shown up on here.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, even if 40 goes back in, retained earnings. I was just thinking if, you can take a little out of that and get us closest to a level fund.
Well, there's several things there. Like I said, the water main, this wouldn't even cover the complete cost to do what's left of water main up there.
Yeah.
I think it was about 79,000 when we did the first run of it. That was
That's
about,
up behind the church, right, that you're talking? Behind the,
yes.
the old fishing game?
So right now we've got the water line coming from the common, going up a certain amount,
Mhm.
right to the top of that hill before you start coming down. And then we've got it coming most of the way back down from the other side. So there's about a 550-foot strip that we need to finish to get that looped.
About 550 feet left.
Yeah,
We did 700 feet, right?
yeah, about 750, somewhere around there. So it's just a matter of trying to continue up there.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be able to do it a little bit cheaper than the last round because we'll try to keep it on the side of the road. You know, we had no choice but to come out in the road for a lot of it up top.
Yeah, there's some
But
ledge
we've got it
involved.
to the edge of the road, yeah, and there's ledge.
Mhm.
Well, plus there was a lot of work tying that in up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the intersection, that was a big,
Right.
that was quite a bit of
So it should be quite a bit cheaper. Well,
it
not
should
quite,
be,
but-
yeah, easier except for the ledge.
Hmm.
But we gotta go up a certain amount and then cross over because the water main's on the opposite side of the road when you get up there. So we gotta go a certain amount of the way down the road, keep it on that side, and then just shoot across and connect back up. But yeah, it shouldn't be as much of a nightmare as the previous. Because we
Yeah.
had to cut out that section and put in the T to three-way valve setup, and
Oh, yeah, a lot of work there.
that was a nightmare. That was another one of Buff's roads that got raised,
Mhm.
dig down about 3 feet, and all of a sudden you hit another road.
another pavement.
So then you're working in a trench that's 10 feet deep. Also for capital, I don't know if you guys know it yet, but they signed the bill for us to fall into OSHA. So as of, I believe, February 19, we're gonna fall under OSHA. So OSHA can come out and do an inspection, so if we're,
Yeah, municipalities just be exempt.
right, so we're exempt from OSHA, and the governor just signed the bill to put it into law that we're gonna fall under the OSHA now.
So who's responsible for that in town?
All of us.
We have to
So-
make sure everything's.
Yeah, so
implemented
now,
to the letter of
you know,
law.
you have to make sure trench box, air monitoring, anytime the sewer work has to be air monitoring, harnesses, all the safety equipment, stuff that we're probably.
Yeah, but it's not just
lacking
that
a
though,
little
it's all the
bit.
chemical stuff too.
The chemical safety, I don't know how involved we're gonna end up getting, I don't know if anyone in town yet knows how much it costs to put a respiratory program in place, but,
Well, all that, lockout, tag out.
yeah, I mean, lockout, tag out's easy and fairly
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, I probably have enough stuff at home to supply all our lockout, tag out stuff here, but,
Who voted that in? The state?
government, yeah. Yep.
Somehow that wasn't on the front page of the newspaper.
Yeah, so now we gotta meet all that stuff. That's another reason the training, I didn't wanna drop any, because I know there's gonna be additional training that we've gotta
Yeah,
do.
the OSHA.
We're gonna-
for OSHA.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get some grants, for the safety grants and stuff. But, I mean, there's a lot of trainings that everyone's gonna have to do, you know, the right to know, hazmat, DOT stuff, safety glasses, slip, trips and falls, back injury prevention. It's just a lot of stuff that was kind of lacking around here.
I mean, we should be kind of proactive on a lot of the safety things,
We should be.
but some of the stuff does get, I mean, sometimes some of the safety stuff, you have to go through, it takes you,
Well, yeah, I mean, look what
takes you
happened to
all
us when we
day long
had
to do the
the,
safety stuff, to do a 10-minute job.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
when we had the two contractors down here, something that was, we had scheduled for 4 hours, and ended up taking 12, because their safety crew showed up. Shut the whole thing down, took hours.
Go through every little,
So you think that number then on the water for capital should,
It should go up, but I didn't want to. So we'll do what we can.
because I mean, we've got 30 on sewer that we haven't spent any of that this year. So,
where are we, how close, I guess, we run this, the numbers that you put forth, Bob, to where a level funded budget would be, if you went back and through and tweaked this a little bit on reducing some of the, like Keith's saying, we haven't used any of the,
So I gotta lose 16,000 on sewer.
yeah,
I gotta lose 9,000 on water. That's for the expense side.
mhm.
Some of the things, so I'd have to lose another 1,600 on.
cause then the questions come, the question comes up, with what are we taking in to fund it?
Right.
Well, that's always, you
I
gotta
did,
support,
yeah.
you gotta show how you support the
Yeah.
budget as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have it on these, but I had it on my original sheets that I was going through, and overall, for the entire budget, the way it's written right now, we increased 2.54%.
Okay, and then
So-
what's the revenue projection to support that?
I haven't run those numbers yet for the projections, but, it always runs the same way where we have to use whatever DOR says we collected for revenues from previous years.
Right,
Unless we do a rate study or something like that that can justify additional revenue.
we've had 2 billing cycles now with the
With the new
rates,
rates.
Right.
so we should know exactly where we are.
Right.
Generally speaking, I mean, as long as the usage is the same,
I mean,
generally.
yeah, it's,
I
and
mean, it's gonna float a little bit.
it
but,
fluctuates, if we have a really dry season or a
Mhm.
really wet season, that fluctuates a lot.
But historically, if you look, if you looked at the old numbers, historically, are we talking like a 2% fluctuation, or are we talking 5% fluctuation? Even just on the old numbers, season to season, year to year,
Right.
how that went. You just apply that to the 2 seasons, the percentage it's gonna fluctuate 5%.
Right. So, if you base it, our budget was written so that 50,000 a year would go into retained earnings, towards future projects. And it was basically about level funded for this, plus the 50,000 to go in retained earnings. Now, that wasn't factoring in North Village,
All
the
the
Hunts
new
Pond,
growth.
or this project, so that's a huge increase right there. So we should see a lot more revenue coming in, and on top of that, I think the numbers I ran, it came out to a little over $1 million in connection fees, just between those three projects.
Yeah, but enough villages starting to go now, so.
Yeah.
So what do we have, what was committed so far for, FY 18? Do you know what that was?
I don't have the two
Just for-
totals because the numbers were all messed up because of the billing problem, so
Okay.
there was a lot of adjustments that went on there.
Yeah,
So I need to get
good,
the updated, and there was another report that I had Lee run that they get from the town hall to give us where some of the other revenue comes from. If we just look at billing, it's not an accurate picture. There's other sources that we get it from.
yeah, okay.
So I'd like to see that number.
I guess I'd like to see the budget level funds that we could take out, you had said, 16,000
That's on the expense side.
the expense
so,
side.
I mean,
Salaries,
if
I
you
think-
want level funded, I would have to reduce expense sides to offset, like the salaries,
Right,
and the increases in health insurance and all that stuff. So it depends on what you mean by level
Yeah, I'm
funded.
thinking of fully level funded or level funded expenses.
Level fund expenses is different than level
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
everything, so.
I'd like to see the expenses level funded, and the salaries we're gonna have to relook at, find out exactly what's taking place
What
with
they're
that.
saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Get the
there's
number.
stuff like health insurance and stuff, I mean,
Yeah,
all
we
that
can't-
stuff we have no control over.
Yeah, yeah.
Workers' comp and,
Right.
you know, FICA and all that. Well, not workers' comp.
We don't really have any control
Yeah,
over,
right.
labor cost either, salaries.
Yeah,
So like, yeah, like you said, you know, if I saw that, the other revenue sources and everything, I might be a little more comfortable with keeping some of those numbers up where they are.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest ones to look at would be capital. And those are just, you know, some of the projects, when we get to the end of the budget years, those are the ones that I hold off on until the end, you know, it's just something that I say, all right, the revenues weren't what we expected, so we're gonna have to hold off on these capital projects until next year.
right.
And just, can
I
you
think-
refresh my mind, and again, I should know this by now, but the wording is off, so the public works on the water side, what comes out of that account, out of that line item again?
I'm looking for it within the book here.
Sorry.
The markers,
I wish they could label this, stuff the way I think.
I know. There's like 4 of them that all should be in the
Drives
same
me- yeah,
category.
I agree with you.
You got something to mark that with?
Yeah,
Oh, good. Oh, there's a card there.
yeah.
Alright, so Public Works. That's chemicals. Which is probably one of our larger expenses.
Yep.
Yeah. So 90% of that on sewer is chemicals.
And on the water side?
Some Putnam pipe goes in here.
And wouldn't
So-
the meters come out of that also? I know we did the meters out
Yeah,
of
they
capital
always-
here,
yeah.
cause it was,
No, she's saying that meters and hydrants, and that's some of the
That's-
confusion, because we were doing it out of Public Works, and then
Right.
she said, well, no, we consider it a meter program, so it's the total combined cost of so they wanna lump all the meters and hydrants
the capital.
into the capital.
Yeah, okay.
You want that under capital?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little odd to me, just because, you know, Public Works supplies are, you know,
Mm.
hydrants,
Yeah,
water line.
yeah.
I mean, if you look at it from a broad spec perspective, then if I changed all the service lines in town, yeah, that'd be, you know, several $100,000. So yeah, overall that would be a huge capital investment.
Yeah.
But If you're doing them one at a time or here and there, then, you know, it's only a few $100. You know, all the brass fittings, I mean, we had to do a huge clean out of the brass because they won't allow you to use anything with lead anymore, so. As of a certain date, they said no more, you had to scrap everything that you had and buy all new stuff, so it was a big expense. But those are fittings and everything, but it's the same thing, I mean, you do a meter replacement program, you go in and change a meter and the meter valve breaks, and now the meter valve's part of that, so.
Yeah.
We order it under public works supplies, but should it go under capital? Because overall, it's gonna cost you a fortune to change them all. But at that point, you look at any of it, I mean, anything you do, if you're replacing them throughout the entire town, it's gonna cost you a fortune, and you would consider it capital, but if you're doing it a little as you go, then it's not as expensive. So I agree with you, we could probably narrow down all these little line items to about 5 instead of 25.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm just on a time constraint here, so.
So I'll work on that, get it,
Yeah, I'd like
get
to
what
see
I
it,
can
'cause-
adjust the level fund expenses.
Did we get that revenue, I think you gave us a revenue report last year that was exactly,
I think actually Lee had included that.
So basically
Some of
looking
these, but-
about 16,000 on the sewer, we can reduce that, that'll level fund the expenses. And then on the water, if we reduce that by
Roughly 9.
about 9,000, that'll be, expenses will be level funded on that.
Yep.
I think that could be done fairly easy. If
yeah,
you-
without hamstringing us to a
Right.
point where we gotta go to,
Right.
you know, the fall town meeting and say, you know,
I
hey,
need
we
more money.
need more money, you know?
I think that's a realistic, avenue to look at.
But your level fund expenses with an added 50-acre property and 2 buildings, so.
Right, but look at what the actual was spent though. So I mean, I'm looking at actuals, what we've been spending historically versus what we're
Yeah.
budgeting for. So I think that may just get us a little bit closer to check.
Yeah.
And then next year we'll see where we're at on the budget and where we spent. If it gets us a little closer, we have to add it. And we can always add it, but
Yep.
How much more added expense are we gonna have with,
It shouldn't be terribly
Main?
much more.
Shouldn't be much, I mean, we'll probably have some maintenance items, you'll have the heat, the electric.
Yeah,
Yeah, some
There'll be
building,
some-
building repair stuff. that
Yeah,
we have
there'll
to
be
do.
some man hours, cause we gotta mow that, I don't think that's been mowed in 2 years, so.
yeah.
Even if
Yeah,
we,
But didn't we
Hired
wanna do some
somebody.
work in one of
brush hog
the
it.
overhead
Yeah.
things,
Hire
close it
somebody.
in, or we're gonna just leave it open?
Yeah, that's stuff that we gotta discuss more. I mean, I'm not in a big rush to do anything with it right now. I'm not opposed to pulling down one of those metal things and sending it up the highway so we can store some of these equipment in there. But, you know, we can't do anything in a 50-foot strip
Yeah.
off the center of that pipeline, which is one of those, the steel building ones. The sheds are all within that 50-foot.
No, we can't do nothing with that stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of those things, if we can relocate them so we can actually put them to better use, I'm not opposed to that.
We can still use them.
Yeah, we can use them the way they are.
Yeah, you
Where they
can't,
have
you
them,
can't build
can't add
anything.
on to it,
Right, so
or
I couldn't go
close it in, or,
close in that one. I think I could get away with doing the other one that's half closed in. We could probably finish closing that one in. I think me and you measured it a
Yeah.
little bit, but
were you able to get the pipe off the ground yet and stuff, or?
yes. Yeah, they have all the pipe up on the racks over there, all the hydrants up on the racks over there, so.
Well, that's good, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, that works out nice. We did purchase 2 12-inch lengths of pipe for doing this project out here. Bill had written it up and drawn true plans saying that there's about 40 feet of pipe that we're gonna have to replace whenever
Right, yeah.
whenever they rip through here.
Yeah.
So
When are
I
they gonna
already
fix
I
that?
already ordered all the parts for that, so those are already on site.
I would, 40 feet's enough.
Well, just to do that section, trust me, if it was up to me, I'd say, yeah, keep digging until you get rid of the intersection of Gilboa, and I'll
Yeah.
put in a 4-way
Yeah,
12-inch valve setup, and
yeah.
so we'll have new valves out there that work and don't leak every time we use them.
Mm.
And get the bridge part done, and then it's just a matter of shooting from here up to Main Street. And there seemed to be a little more positive feedback on I'm trying to get this Gilboa Street line done.
Should give us mobiles to sign?
Yeah,
Already signed these.
Yeah. I just signed a bunch
What's
of
the,
them yesterday.
under sewer department debt, professional technical, is that
yeah, I
the?
forgot to tell you, we didn't even talk about those, did we?
Yeah, those are, I mean, it's pretty much what, I mean, those numbers really can't change, I'm just curious as to what the,
Well, they're gonna, this one, I mean, these, yeah, they are what they are.
Yeah.
But these are, this one of these we got one more year on.
on the water, which one do you?
Yeah,
Water.
most of these are 2 years and this is all gone. So all the water ones. It's like 1 year this one goes away, 1.5 years that one goes away. And then it's like 1 year. I had them written on my other sheet, but I forgot to transfer it over.
I don't see the water one, but it's right in the back here.
Page 6.
Yeah, okay.
And then you've got the sewer one. So on the sewer, this is the last Manchog Street one. So those 2 line items will come off. So that's 10,500 that we won't have on next year's.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at the numbers that we had, except when Jean sent me the sheet, she sent me 5 years, and apparently there's 7 years left on it. So I'm looking at it saying, wait a minute, we pretty much have enough in reserve for debt now to cover this,
Cover that.
so maybe I shouldn't even take that fee off for the next one. But then we're going back and forth on the phone, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm looking at these numbers, and just quickly in my head, it comes out to about what we have, and then she's going up, she's like, no, I got this much, and it looks like you're gonna have to go probably all of this fiscal year, 19.
Mhm.
So the next 2 billing cycles before we can take it off. But I'm like, I don't know, these numbers don't look right to me, so after we argued back and forth for a little while, I realized that she only sent me a 5-year plan, and she has a 7-year that she's looking at.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I would say that we've got 2 more billing cycles. It's right around there. It might be 1 and a partial, or 2 and then maybe that's it.
And that was for
For the
the,
$63 fee.
okay,
So we don't charge for any of these water ones anymore, because we've already collected all the
Yeah.
money. It's just
Yeah.
riding out the loan to pay them.
Yep.
So the money's in reserve already for that.
mm-hmm,
And those will all come off in the next 2 years, I think.
yeah,
And then the sewer ones, it goes out to 2025, but like I said, I think we're gonna have enough collected in the next year. So a year from now, we should be done with that $63.
So we'll be able to take that off too.
And that was for the plant, that was the one for the
Yeah.
plant.
So at that point, we're debt-free.
Well,
I think I did some quick figuring on the, just on, because we're gonna have to do something at some point with this line. But for the increase in that.
For
water
Gilboa
line,
Street?
For Gilboa Street,
Well, it sounded very positive for a capital committee on that one.
yeah,
And then the town administrator did email me earlier, asking questions about that.
good.
So it
That's
sounds
been on,
like,
that's been on there for quite a while.
yeah, so it sounds like that one is, that, I stressed that was my highest priority.
is that from North Street down?
From the Gilboa North Street intersection down to the mill.
Oh, down to that. What
So
about
it's a 6-inch,
from
so,
Main Street down?
right, so that's the next one, that was my second priority, is getting that one done.
Okay.
When they're gonna work on a bridge, I'm just wondering if,
Well, that's why I said I ordered 2 12-inch pieces here. Because it's
Oh,
only an
alright, so
8
that part will
it's
be
only an
done.
8-inch line on the road right now, but if we're gonna replace 40 feet of pipe, I'm gonna put in 12 and then we just carry on off of that, going that way.
okay.
And carry, so we could actually break that up into 2 projects at that point. If we can go across the bridge and get out to the intersection here,
We
then
can't do that now when they repair the bridge.
I'd like to, but trying to get approval to do that, I don't know. But Bill said he's got paperwork in to redo the entire bridge, to make it wider, make it, straighten it out a little bit so that you're not coming around that hard corner.
Well, if that's the case, if they put in a new bridge, you
Oh,
should
that's
be able to
means
hang
the
a
whole
pipe off the
bridge.
side.
Right. Or depending on how they build the bridge, it might go in the bridge. So either way, so it's kind of one of those, do we wait and see if he's gonna be able to do the whole bridge over and then we just finish that side then?
That could be 10 years from now.
Or do we move forward and increase our line and then they have to work around it whenever?
That'd have to be state funded, right, that bridge?
No,
Don't know that would,
No,
That's the town,
town owns it,
Yeah, I have to talk to Bill
the
about
town's
that.
responsible for replacing the whole thing then.
unless it's grant money or something, for
Right.
bridges and things like that, I'm not sure.
But after talking to Bill, it sounded like they wanna redo that entire bridge, you know, fix the corner. Cause I guess the guardrail or stop sign or whatever gets taken out up there a lot. Fix this corner over here, cause everybody
Yeah.
always hits that.
Yeah.
Tractor trailers always end up with a trailer up on the
Yeah,
side over there.
so they're looking at reconfiguring all that for the bridge, so
That was the same company that did that 4 times.
it was.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was Walmart. yeah.
Walmart.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they come around, cut the corner hard and up over the
Up over the
guardrail.
Yeah, they hit it, what, 3 or 4 times, 2 or 3
Yeah.
In a
times.
couple weeks.
Yeah.
They did kind of reconfigure the guardrail so we can't really catch that as much.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we could look at that, and once we put that section in, then I'm gonna put a new valve in. So then it's just continue off going that way, or continue going that way. So you can kind of make that 2 projects if we were gonna do it on our own. Because from there to there isn't that far. It's just a matter of, like I said, you're going over the Stone Arch Bridge, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that adds a little confusion.
Good. So that's what, we're gonna leave it at that, we're gonna try to get that expenses level funded, see what happens with the COLA, whatever the numbers are for salaries,
Yeah,
and discuss the steps.
And it's
then-
that revenue report that you got
The
last
revenue.
year from G.
yeah.
So,
That was
Yeah.
good last year.
We're supposed to be including that, cause it's a quick, easy revenue report that we could pull up. It's a new report that they did when we did the Munis stuff, but,
I haven't seen anything be quick in Munis.
yeah, and
When do you-
Lee was gonna be adding that to the monthly meeting, so you guys could at least see that.
when are you scheduled with the finance committee?
I haven't seen
Yeah, I was
anything,
just gonna ask that.
I haven't seen anything, I don't know
Okay.
if they even had me go last year.
I
don't remember if I went to finance committee.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Yeah, I think you did. I think
know
you were
I
the
went to
last
Capital.
one.
Was I?
I think you were the last one.
No, last year.
Yeah.
Just in case we need to, I mean, can we wait till the next regular meeting to discuss, to finalize that, or does this need to be done
Well, that's in, the next regular one's in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks?
Yeah, it's only 2 weeks from now, yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So-
far, but
Okay.
I know they're pushing time wise,
That's
but,
what I'm wondering as far as what,
I mean, I can shoot you guys off emails and at least send out what I end up with. And if you have any more questions or wanna schedule a quick meeting, or if you have individual
Well,
comments.
do you wanna
want
just
them
book
down,
one?
yeah,
So
let me
today's
know.
Tuesday, we need 48 hours. Do you wanna, nobody wants a meeting on a Friday, you wanna book one for Monday? I mean, even during the day, I don't even care if I gotta come in during the day, that's fine.
Monday.
Monday or even Friday during the day, not Friday night.
Friday I've got OSHA training.
Next, I'm not gonna be here Friday.
Yeah. On Monday?
Monday, come back. Yeah, if we have to. But-
You wanna just book it, just think, I mean, we can always cancel it. If we don't need it, but
So when do you wanna do it, Monday in the morning or
Yeah.
afternoon, or,
I wanna do it like lunchtime or something.
say, cause Monday
Yeah,
night's
right.
not good
Yeah.
for me, that's my wife's late night,
Yeah,
so she's working.
Would you rather do it Tuesday?
Tuesday night, I can't do it Tuesday night, I got another meeting.
So I've got a meeting Tuesday too, I gotta,
yeah, but Tuesday during the day, then it's your work hours.
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
can do it during the day. I
Tuesday
guess.
during the day?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah. So
Actually, it's better for me in a way.
Yeah. I'll do, when we schedule like Tuesday at lunchtime,
okay.
something like
So,
that.
'cause I got a
Is
morning
that gonna
meeting.
work? Is that gonna work for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So just,
Alright, can you contact the town
Yeah.
clerk? Alright, cool,
and
thank
we'll
you.
just get everything finalized and we'll know where we are. We should have everything by then.
and it's just budget, you guys wanna discuss at that meeting?
Yep, there's budget and, as long as the,
It'll be this Tuesday?
Steps
Yeah,
forward.
it's
Yeah.
the 27th, I think. Is that the 27th?
Yes,
there's nothing else there's nothing else.
Anytime.
Unless you wanna do the regular meeting, so I don't have to meet the following Tuesday again. Is there anything?
Well, that's another week.
Yeah.
Further down, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, the only thing I can't do on,
Would be the report.
the regular meetings, I won't have all the numbers for the month.
You won't have it for the regular meeting anyway, cause it's like the second.
Oh, yeah, if it's on the second, I won't have it. the
Yeah,
third.
so maybe we put it out to the second, maybe we just
Third,
postpone.
yeah, April 3rd.
Maybe we just put that to the following Tuesday for the monthly meeting? Or should we should hold the same
Yeah,
schedule?
we're gonna hold the
Yeah.
same. It's been posted since like 1997.
Yeah,
I guess.
maybe they were not confusing people.
Okay.
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:40.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.